Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to peek behind the curtain of corporate jargon and see what is really going on. Today we're diving into Smart Financial Incorporated's latest report, and let's just say the 21st of October 2025 seems to have brought some interesting news, or at least the announcement of some news. First off, if you appreciate getting straight, no-nonsense insights from these official filings, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We also have a Discord community linked in the description where we talk more about these kinds of things. So come on over and join the conversation. Alright, so what we have here is an 8K filing from Smart Financial Incorporated. Think of an 8K as the company's way of telling the world about big events that are happening right now. It is not a regular, in-depth financial report like a 10Q or a 10K, but more like a news bulletin for material stuff. And the earliest event reported here is the 21st of October 2025. Smart Financial Incorporated, for those who might not be familiar, is a financial services company. The report lists its state of incorporation as Tennessee and its main office is in Knoxville. Tennessee, they've got common stock trading on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol SMBK. Now, why did they file this 8K on the 21st of October? Well, it is mainly about item 2.02, which deals with results of operations and financial condition. Basically, on that day, Smart Financial Incorporated put out a press release to announce their earnings for the third quarter of 2025. This earnings report covers the period up to the 30th of September 2025. The report itself also includes this press release as Exhibit 99.1 and an investor slide presentation as Exhibit 99.2. The company is making it clear that this information, while important for investors to see, isn't being officially filed in a way that makes them liable under certain parts of the Exchange Act. It is more of a disclosure. So the real meat of this filing, the actual financial results, are in that press release and the accompanying investor presentation. While this 8K doesn't contain the detailed numbers itself, it tells us, hey, look over here for the latest on how they're doing financially. Since it is an earnings announcement, we typically expect to see how their revenue, profits, and perhaps key lending or deposit metrics have moved compared to previous periods. The investor presentation, Exhibit 99.2, is usually where companies try to put a positive spin on their numbers, often using charts and graphs to tell a story. They'll likely highlight growth areas, talk about management strategy, and maybe address any challenges. When looking at these presentations, it is important to remember they are crafted narratives. The underlying numbers in the press release, however, are what we really want to scrutinize. We would look for things like net income, earnings per share, growth in loans and deposits, and the quality of their loan portfolio, meaning how likely borrowers are to repay their loans. Then we have item 7.01, which is about Regulation FD disclosure. Regulation FD, or fair disclosure, is designed to prevent companies from selectively sharing important information with a select few. So when a company says they are making a Regulation FD disclosure in an 8K, it means they are providing information to the public that they are also sharing, or will be sharing with certain investors or analysts. In this case, it is referring again to that investor slide presentation for their earnings conference call. And finally, Exhibit 104, the cover page interactive data file. This is part of the newer XBRL tagging that makes these filings more machine readable and easier for analysts and regulators to process. It is essentially a digital tag on the document itself, indicating it is ready for automated systems. Now, let's get to the core of what Smart Financial Incorporated reported. While the 8K itself is light on numerical data, it points us to their earnings announcement. Based on typical earnings reports for a financial institution like Smart Financial, we'd be looking for key indicators of their health and growth. For instance, we'd want to see the trend in their net interest income, which is the difference between the interest they earn on loans and the interest they pay on deposits. A growing net interest income generally signals a healthy banking business. We'd also pay close attention to their loan growth and deposit growth. Are they making more loans and attracting more deposits? This shows expansion. Importantly, we would check their non-performing loans as a percentage of total loans. A rising percentage here could signal that borrowers are struggling to repay, which is definitely a red flag for Smart Financial Incorporated in the third quarter of 2025. If their press release showed a solid increase in net income and earnings per S-hair compared to the third quarter of 2024, that would be a positive sign. If they also reported healthy growth in their loan portfolio, say a 5 to 7% increase year over year, that would indicate they are successfully expanding their core business. However, if the percentage of performing loans crept up even slightly, that would be a point of concern. For instance, if it moved from 0.5% to 0.7%, that might seem small, but it could mean a significant number of new loans are having trouble. Given that they operate in the financial sector, interest rate environments play a huge role if interest rates were rising during this period. Smart Financial might have benefited from higher interest income, but could also face increased costs on deposits and potentially slower loan demand. Their ability to manage these dynamics is crucial. A good earnings report would show them navigating this environment successfully, perhaps by growing their net interest margin. Looking at the bigger picture, Smart Financial Incorporated is likely competing with other regional and national banks. Their strategy might involve focusing on specific markets or customer segments, and their financial performance in this report would tell us if that strategy is paying off. For example, if they are heavily invested in commercial lending, a strong report would show robust growth in that area. Alternatively, if they are building out their consumer banking services, we'd look for increased consumer loan origination and deposit balances. Now, looking at these results more broadly, Smart Financial Incorporated appears to be navigating the current financial landscape by releasing its quarterly performance. Their focus on providing investors with timely information through press releases and presentations, as indicated by this 8K, shows a commitment to transparency. However, without the actual numbers from the press release and presentation, it is hard to give a definitive opinion on their direction. A key piece of information we'd be looking for is evidence of sustained profitability and prudent risk management. For example, if they reported consistent double-digit earnings growth over several quarters and maintained low levels of troubled loans, that would suggest a strong and stable company. Conversely, if the numbers showed flat or declining profitability, or a significant uptick in bad loans, it might indicate underlying issues that warrant further investigation. The risks for any financial institution include economic downturns, increased competition, regulatory changes, and cybersecurity threats. Smart Financial's ability to mitigate these risks effectively will be reflected in its ongoing financial performance. Alright, that is our breakdown based on what this 8K filing from Smart Financial Incorporated reveals about the 21st of October 2025 announcements. What is your take on what these financial updates might signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps the channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into corporate documents. Also, check out the Discord in the description to join the community. Thanks for watching. See you next time.